Happy North America birthday to PlayStation, my Piscatella writes. Shout out, by the way, to the Bean87 who pointed out this particular post from Matt Piscatella to me and said, hey, did you see Matt Piscatella's, post about the highest selling games on PlayStation? And it says, here are the top 20 all-time best-selling games on PlayStation platforms in the U.S. from Circana's retail tracking service. Now, this was a little strange to me when I saw this particular chart, because in dollar sales and unit sales, it's GTA 5, right? This is an all-time 20, bestseller sale, physical and full game digital for publishers and the digital leader panel. Number 2 in dollar sales was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. I'm sure this is when PlayStation was like, yo, guys, we got to make this game ours. And Xbox was like, man, if we could make this game ours. Minecraft is the unit sales, top leader in that regard. Red Dead Redemption 2, number 3 in dollars and in units. Modern Warfare 2, 2022. Wow. GTA San Andreas in units. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 in units. Black Ops 6 is number 5. And this is what the audience member of ours was telling me to go look at. So you mean to tell me that this game, right, ended up more in the black for Xbox than it did for PlayStation? GamesIndustry.biz with that silly opinion piece that y'all's editor allowed to go through. Minecraft number 7 in dollars. Call of Duty Black Ops 3 in units at the number 7 place, and then Black Ops 3 number 8. You see what? You know what, bro? I cannot even stress how pivotal the acquisition of Call of Duty was for PlayStation. If this doesn't prove anything, in fact, this takes me back, right, to that entire notion. The entire notion that people were going ahead to spout that, it wasn't really a big deal, the acquisition of Activision Blizzard King. It wasn't such a big deal. Really? Xbox absolutely bodied PlayStation by actually capturing that game. They knew exactly what that game meant overall to the entire gaming industry, and most importantly to PlayStation. And you can already see it here by yourself. If you even go back and take some other things into account, you'll realize that this is exactly why Jim Ryan could not just let Microsoft easily walk away with that deal intact. Which brings me back to 2023. An article that I made my bones with, and it was written by Discord and published on Windows Central. This article was, I think, the most pivotal article from about 2 years ago that everybody should have been paying attention to. Via this article, I think I probably blocked 12 to 3 dozen PlayStation fanboys who always heckled me whenever I talked about this particular matter. I remember that when this article published, Microsoft could disrupt and threaten PlayStation's business, Sony's Xbox fears laid bare in massive hack. Insomniac had just, experienced that hack. A lot of things were coming out. There was the talk about the Spider-Man, PC port that was sitting that got leaked, got compiled by pirates in Brazil. Some of the news outlets showed their hands that they were actually in bed with PlayStation, or at least they were biased in favor of PlayStation as they didn't want to talk about the content of this. Right? Yet, in previous months or so, Xbox had also gotten through a massive leak. So I was looking through these hacks and these PowerPoint slides that were published by Discord, and they were very important. They were like the business framework and mindset of what PlayStation was thinking at the time. I remember that there were people who said that this was outdated, information. I went on Puerto Rock's podcast and people were telling me, they were saying on this chat that day, you should go back and watch that podcast and read the chat replay. Just read them. A lot of those folk were blocked from the Video Game Fight School channel. So when they saw me in another public forum, they thought heckling was going to, in a sense, change the reality that had been stamped and sealed that PlayStation is nothing but a glorified Call of Duty machine. And then when their biggest competitor captured that game and captured the entire company that owned the game, it just simply meant that no longer would they use it as a tool to provide a unique point to their business. Think about this. Even when, we're not going to go and read through this. I mean, we're probably going to take time to read another video, but let me give you guys this perspective. Just listen to this. When Activision Blizzard King, right, was acquired by Xbox, right as the time the deal closed, PlayStation still had exclusive deals to have some more favorable pieces of that game on their platform than Xbox. And Microsoft honored those deals. It's that bad how PlayStation was basically using this game like its own little playground, leveraging money and then using the money to block third-party games. They wanted to really kill Xbox, and this was one of the weapons that they had. And so Xbox going out there and just buying this game, you should have seen the punditry lose their freaking minds talking about consolidation and monopoly and all that. But now you should see all of them basically become anti-consumer because Xbox is doing Game Pass. And so now I'm going back and I'm looking at this list from Matt Piscatella, and my interpretation of this list is nothing short of, so this is what y'all were afraid about, right? That at some point in time, this was probably going to be the reality that you guys did not want to basically happen, that the top selling game on PlayStation overall, outside of Rockstar's games, are Call of Duty games and Minecraft. And Xbox owns those games. So Xbox has basically leveraged or found a way to leverage the biggest IPs on PlayStation's own platform, and it's just extracting money from PlayStation's users. So PlayStation, by all means, sell more consoles. In fact, I think Xbox is rooting for PlayStation to sell more consoles. We go back to another fan base, which were the Xbox hyper fandom, who said that, Activision Blizzard King acquisition was not really that much of a big deal and nothing was really going to change. And I blocked some as well, too. And there was a reason I was doing all these blocking as well. But, and the reason I'm talking about blocking a lot of folk, too, is because I know it triggers some, people out there as well. So, like that one that was jumping in my Xbox messages. I didn't even know because I'm not really on my Xbox. But I saw their message and I had to block them because they won't respond to a skill check. I invited them to play a few games of, a few skill check games, with me so that we could kind of, figure out how much of a gamer they claim they are. But I think they're probably, they're probably more concerned about other matters. And all of this in this particular conversation was very important. And so when we go back to this so-called outdated document that talks about the Call of Duty threat in 2077, where maybe PlayStation kind of envisioned that, Xbox was going to take Call of Duty exclusive. If they had, it would have destroyed PlayStation. Can you imagine? If you notice the fear, do you see how that fear is valid? Imagine if Xbox took Call of Duty exclusive, and imagine when they take it exclusive, or if they decide to take it exclusive after so many years. I don't think they will, though. But imagine if they decided to do that. They'll just kill PlayStation. They'll just pull the off switch on this company. This company's been selling more Call of Duty games apparently for many a year, for decades, than it's been selling its own games. Wow. So you can see why the boss of PlayStation ran around. This is crazy. There is no other way that my brain is, there are other things here I can look at. The Last of Us 2, God of War 2018, one of my favorite games. The first Last of Us, also one of my favorite games. Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, they also bought Bethesda too. Yikes. Yeah. Xbox has slowly and calculatively cooked their position into a very interesting, weird place. As the general media continues to, I almost think this is like a, big brain conspiracy where maybe the media is actually in bed with Xbox to continue to downplay Xbox so that Xbox can acquire more and more IP and more development teams that are very pivotal in the gaming industry so that they can go unchecked and unnoticed. Because as the Activision Blizzard King trial was going on, I don't think many people could find much as to Xbox's domination. So those people that keep saying Game Pass is, stagnated and blah, blah, blah. I've warned a lot of you to be quiet because you're going to give them another win so easily. It's what y'all are going to do. You've basically downplayed them into a position of dominance. Congrats. Because when the indicators were there, what did y'all say? You said I was crazy. You said, we were looking at outdated information and PlayStation was somehow this, exclusive platform because their exclusives are just the best. Blah, 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 blah. But here you are. The console is literally a Call of Duty machine with a Guitar Hero game that snuck in there. And Spider-Man. Miles Morales and Spider-Man. 2018 and Spider-Man. This is the PlayStation that y'all have been touting. I told y'all I'm not impressed. Peace out.